As soon as this came out, y'all know I had to talk about this. And I know by now everybody and their mom already knows about this news, but I did want to talk about this myself because this is important, very important. And at the end of this, I'm going to give my thoughts and then close out the video because it doesn't really need to be that long. I'm just going to report on what has come out. Okay. Again, you guys already know this. I'm sure this is something that a lot of bunnies probably don't like. And I mean, it's too bad. It's too bad because, again, I've been saying that no proof has come out. Constantly, we've been saying there's no proof. Everybody's like, oh, check the facts, check the facts. The facts are is that Hanni did not provide any proof at all. None of them did that there was any workplace bullying going on. None of them. We still waiting for it, including the additional evidence that they claim they had. Bring it out. Come on. But anyway, Bong Si-hyuk's Hybe was found not guilty of workplace bullying against NewJeans' Hanni, and of course they were also accused of covering up accidental unaliving. That's amazing. So this article came by way of Pink Villa, so I'm reading this article from that website. Hybe is one of the biggest entertainment companies in South Korea, where Bong Si-hyuk serves as the chairperson and co-founder. Recently, the company faced multiple allegations such as workplace bullying and industrial accident concealment, resulting in stripping the company from its title of top corporation. However, the agency has retained its position after the accusations have been cleared. On December 30th, 2024, the Ministry of Employment and Labor announced that a review committee convened on December 27th, 2024, decided to maintain Hybe's excellent company certification. According to the ministry, withdrawing the designation requires evidence of violations of labor laws or other objective issues. The investigation concluded that there were no legal breaches regarding workplace harassment or unaddressed industrial accidents. Additionally, allegations of mistreatment towards subcontractors were not deemed sufficient grounds for withdrawal. The excellent company certification recognizes 100 businesses annually that excel in creating quality jobs and improving work environments. Hybe was granted the title in September of 2024. However, controversies arose following reports implicating the company in labor-related misconduct, leading to public debate over the legitimacy of its certification. Previously, Hanni of NewJeans accused Hybe of workplace bullying. She revealed how she was waiting in a hallway at Hybe's office when another group and their manager passed by. Though they initially greeted each other as they walked back, the manager reportedly instructed the group to ignore her. The artist expressed her confusion and disbelief over the situation, shedding light on potential workplace bullying within the company. The K-pop star also attended the National Assembly to address the matter. However, the Ministry of Employment and Labor ruled that under the current law, Hanni is not classified as a worker and therefore is not protected against workplace harassment. NewJeans, formed by Adore, consists of 5 members: Min Hee-jin, Hanni, Danielle, Hedin, and Haein. I'm not going to read the rest because they haven't really ended the exclusive contract. They're still under contract as it stands. So I don't know why they're saying they've ended their exclusive contract. That doesn't make any sense. They have not. They want to, but they have not. As I know. Now, if there's anything that came out that I'm unaware of, please let me know in the comments. Did they actually end their exclusive contract already? Because I'm pretty sure they didn't. It's going to take a while for that to happen. Yeah, so basically, as we know, Hanni presented this example to show that there was workplace bullying going on. Well, that was the example she used. Like I said, a lot of bunnies are saying, well, it wasn't just a simple matter of ignore her. It's not simply that. Well, firstly, were you there? I don't know if it's just bunnies or if it's bunnies and other people that just support NewJeans because they're a group as opposed to a company. So I want to be very clear. I don't believe that it's just bunnies. I believe it's bunnies and people that probably aren't bunnies, but would rather support the quote unquote lesser party, the oppressed side, as Nathan put it, the weaker side, the oppressed side, right? Over the company is what I'm saying. So I just want to be clear that it's not just bunnies. I know a lot of people keep saying it's bunnies. I don't know if it's just bunnies, to be honest, but I believe it's not just bunnies, personally. I talked in a previous video about the South Korean Labor Standards Act, Article 76, Paragraph 2, which states that workplace bullying is an act by an employer and an employee, which has already been ruled out that NewJeans don't count as employees. They don't qualify as workers, right? They don't get paid the same as employees. They have employees of the company that cater to them and make sure that they are on time for schedules and things like that. Even the makeup crew and the stylist and all these people are employees by the company, but they themselves are not employees or workers. But just so that you guys can have it again, I'll read it for you again. The South Korean Labor Standards Act, Article 76, Paragraph 2, states that workplace bullying is an act by an employer and an employee and is described as an act that causes physical or mental pain to another worker, or by someone taking advantage of their superior position or relationship in the workplace beyond the appropriate scope of work, thus worsening the environment in the workplace. She's trying to make it sound like that's what it is, but that's not really what it is. And of course, like I said, bunnies have been trying to add stuff to it to legitimize her claim, and it's not sticking. And the Ministry of Employment and Labor ruling this out kind of proves that point, that it doesn't fall under those guidelines. And of course, some people are not happy about that, but that's what it is. Now, I want to say this. There are some who want the laws to be changed for idols to be considered as employees or workers, including minors. And they see this decision being made as progressive and a step forward in the right direction to better protecting idols from their companies. And that simultaneously it would take power away from their companies to run their idols ragged. But me personally, I don't think that this is the answer to the problem. I believe the answer is to stop imposing these draconian medieval practices that they claim are meant to teach idols discipline, modesty, and self-control. Because in truth, these practices are the very cause of many idols getting sick, developing chronic illnesses, sustaining really bad injuries, and developing dangerous dieting habits. Something needs to be done about that for sure. And I don't even know if that's even in the contracts or if it's just a industrial norm that has nothing to do with contract. But either way, if it is in the contract that they have to do all this stuff and that these practices are implemented to better the idols, that needs to be taken out. That needs to be done away with. I have no clue what's in their contracts, but if that's in there, it needs to be taken out completely. Secondly, I also think that people who oversee the training of these trainees should be more careful about how they speak to these young people who are already under so much pressure to do whatever it takes to make it to debut as idols. I understand wanting the trainees to develop tough skin and helping them to become more mentally strong and mentally fortified, but there is a line you just can't cross. It's the line between guidance and cruelty. I believe part of it comes from the idea that if you can't handle the heat from the producer saying really cruel things about you to your face, how will you be able to deal with the harsh world of K-pop with fans constantly insulting you, saying things like their voice sounds terrible, they can't dance, they're the least attractive member in their group, they should just quit being an idol altogether and work a 9-to-5 job like everybody else because they have just as much talent as me, which is zero. So on and so on. You get what I'm saying. But another part of this idea, I believe, comes from Korean culture pushing their youth to be the best at whatever they do. But when companies do this, it doesn't sound encouraging. For lack of a better way of saying, it sounds abusive. It comes across as very abusive, verbally abusive, and it takes a toll on a young person's mental health to hear their producer saying stuff like that to their faces. And like I said, the idea is if you can't handle me saying stuff to your face, then you're not going to be able to handle the hundreds upon thousands of fans that you have saying it online. So you may as well take the heat now so that you can develop tough skin for what's to come. But again, the way in which they go about doing this, verbally abusing them, I don't think that's right. And it kind of perpetuates a cycle of verbal abuse. Well, the manager does it, and I see it as just him trying to toughen me up and be honest with me, but it's like honesty that borderlines cruelty. You can be honest without being cruel. And survival shows are a perfect example of just the kind of cruelty I'm talking about. Some of the things I've heard people like YG and JYP say to trainees are straight up verbally abusive, and no grown adult who has children and understands the value of nurturing and caring for the youth should be talking like that to young boys and girls who are going through some of the most difficult stages of their lives. This is a practice that also should be done away with in K-pop. I've heard JYP say things about a Japanese girl's weight. Mind you, this girl is not grown at all. She's a young girl still developing. And you say something about her weight. It's probably baby fat, JYP. It's weird that it's almost like body shaming. It's strange. YG, that's one of the cruelest people I've ever seen on survival shows, is YG. Nobody gets crueler than YG. That man will say some really hurtful things. And it messes with the trainee's mind, because in their mind, they're believing that, hey, this is just him being honest and truthful, and he's just doing it to toughen me up, and he's doing it to make me better. So young people start perceiving verbal abuse as honest critique and that it's helpful for them. And it's not. It's not helpful for your growth and development. It stifles it. Now, yes, of course, you turn it into strength. It motivates you, but I don't think that verbal abuse should motivate idols. And I've heard people say, well, because we're Americans, we're against all that. And so we're kind of soft in that way. But that's not it at all. You don't talk to young people like this. You just don't. It's not that we see it as verbal abuse. It is verbal abuse. Maybe I'll make a video giving like concrete examples of what I'm talking about. And that's going to take a while because I got to find the clips of YG and JYP and some other people saying some really, really harsh things, like stuff that you can undoubtedly, unquestionably conclude as being verbally abusive. So maybe I should do that. Overworking your idols, having them go on these very terrible diets. You can see their skeletal structure through their skin. A lot of these illnesses are so life-changing that the artists end up living with those issues for the rest of their lives and risk more harm to themselves if they remain in the industry because the company didn't let them recover when the doctor told them they needed to, otherwise the issue would get worse. For example, like former EXO member Tao, who suffered severe ankle injuries which were repeatedly aggravated due to the demanding schedule and lack of proper recovery time, ultimately contributing to his decision to leave the group. And these injuries included torn ligaments and bone fragments, sometimes requiring surgery, and were often not fully addressed due to the pressure to continue performing. Also, former EXO member Luhan, which had reportedly experienced health issues related to overexhaustion and stress during his time in the group, including not being able to properly manage injuries due to the demanding schedule, which ultimately contributed to his decision to leave the group and file a lawsuit against SM Entertainment to terminate his contract. And there are way more idols that have suffered injuries and life-changing things as well. Not just Tao and Luhan, I'm just giving them as an example. It goes without saying that the demanding schedules, constant scrutiny, and pressure to maintain a perfect image within the K-pop industry, coupled with the stigma in Korean society associated with seeking help for mental health concerns, has further hindered idols from openly discussing their struggles. Thankfully, however, we are seeing progress within the industry, and idols are getting the help that they need and the medical treatment, rest, and recovery that is due them. And it's happening more and more as time goes on, which is really great. And it is a step in the right direction, I believe. But sadly, not all idols are getting this kind of treatment and care, especially new groups who have just debuted, and you all know why. They work them to the bone at the beginning of their career. They always do this. It's with every idol group, they work them to the bone every time. And that's where all of these problems come from most of the time. Lastly, I do want to say this. Bearing in mind everything that I just talked about, everything that I just said, NewJeans' situation isn't that situation where idols are being overworked, starved, deprived of sleep, denied basic human rights. No. That's not what Hanni talked about. Hanni talked about the ignore me story and claimed it was workplace bullying. And then, of course, there's the additional evidence claim that they made that they still haven't delivered on. 3 guesses why. All 3 guesses should be that they don't have it because they don't. Yes, they broadly said that the management was poor and they dogged out the management, but they're talking about the new CEO. They're talking about Hybe refusing to give them their old management back, the old guard, Min Hee-jin. They're mad about that, so they're making a statement about the management of Adore. And then they're talking about the work conditions and all this other stuff, and that even the staff were mistreated and things like that. And all this stuff that we never even heard of. And here's the thing, if the staff were mistreated, I would venture a guess that they were mistreated by Min Hee-jin, if anything, not by Hybe. And a lot of people are saying, and let me just say this really quickly and I'm gonna stop the video. A lot of people have been saying that Hybe has dispatch in their pocket. And that's why they've been attacking Min Hee-jin so vigorously. I don't believe that for 1 minute. I think that's BS. This is the same dispatch that went after BTS's Suga about the scooter. If Hybe had dispatch in their pocket, why would they go after Suga? They wouldn't touch Suga because Bong PD, big bad Bong PD, has dispatch in their pocket. They wouldn't touch Suga with a 6-foot pole. They would have left it alone. So I don't buy that one bit. I don't buy that one bit. And it just goes to show that whether it's bunnies or people who just see the lesser side, the weaker side, the oppressed side, whatever, and want to just defend them because automatically companies are just the automatic villains all the time, 100% of the time, they will spin any narrative that they can to put the company down, even though the company didn't do this. And there's just no way you can prove it. There's no way you can prove that dispatch is in the pocket of Hybe. There's no way you can prove it. You can say it all you want and call it facts, and then not give me any information that leads me to that conclusion that it is a fact, except your words. I'm not gonna believe it. It doesn't make sense. Why go after BTS, the ones who actually got big hit entertainment on the map alongside Bong PD? They're basically business partners, BTS and Bong Shi-hyuk. They're all business partners at this point. Like, they're on equal playing field at this point. Why would he allow dispatch to attack Suga as they did? If he had dispatch in their pocket, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense for you guys. It doesn't make sense. It's almost like you're saying Bong Shi-hyuk backstabbed Suga. Dispatch is on nobody's side. Dispatch doesn't have sides. They look for juicy headlines and they look for whatever is hot, even if it's not true. They plaster it because that's mainstream media. That's what they do. And you know, you got to take mainstream media with a grain of salt most of the time. Dispatch being in the pocket of Hybe, and that's the justification for them attacking Min Hee-jin as much as they have, that's not a good enough reason for me to believe that. What I believe, personally, this is just me kind of putting it together, putting 2 and 2 together, and I could be wrong, and that's fine. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna say it anyway, because this is what I think is going on. The whole 2-hour-long press conference that she held, the first one, she was playing on the sympathies of everybody, including the media. It was a media play of epic proportion. She got on that stage and did her act. Fake cried and everything. Cursed, sweared up and down because she was angry, because she was hurt, because the company turned their back on her, they backstabbed her and all this other stuff that she's talking about. She's exposing Hybe for whatever, and she did it in such a convincing way. And this is just my personal opinion, okay? Dispatch probably latched onto it because it was drama, juicy news. It's going to make for a brilliant headline, a great headline of this narrative that she's painting of a battered woman trying to do her best to protect the girls and trying to get them away from this evil, tyrannical company. Yes, it has all of those lights, the smoke and mirrors that you want. in a drama fest of a headline, you can put it all there. It's all there. It's one of the biggest, best media plays of last year. That is, if you're falling for it. And I think Dispatch, for a moment, had fallen for it. And then, when all of this stuff came to a head, they realized that they were being manipulated. The mainstream media manipulators themselves being manipulated, they don't take too kindly to that. So they decided they're going to take revenge. So what do? They leaked all of these cacao messages that Min Hee-jin said, and then Bunnies and other people had said that, oh no, Dispatch fabricated all this. They made it up. Because like, how did they get a hold of all of these messages and stuff? It's not real. These are not Min Hee-jin's messages. Even though when Min Hee-jin was questioned by a reporter on the comments she made towards the girls, Min Hee-jin didn't deny that she made the comments. Instead, she deflected and said, I don't remember the context. That was a long time ago. Would you remember the context of something that you said however many years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago, whatever? You know, she's trying to deflect because she knows exactly what context she said that stuff in. And she's just trying to pretend like she doesn't remember. So it's not that she denied them or that she never said them. She said them. She's just trying to make it seem like it wasn't about the girls. So that's all I really wanted to say. I didn't want this video to be too long. I think it's probably going to be longer than I wanted it to be because I went on. But that's really what I wanted to say here. After this last video that I'm going to make, kind of just going over briefly everything, not this video, but the next video, I will be done talking about NewJeans and Min Hee-jin because I want to move on. I really do. I've had enough. So let me know how you feel about this in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? But yes, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that notification bell is on so that you will be alerted to my new uploads. And until next time, it's your boy Aves signing out. Peace. Love you guys. Bye.